What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're talking about Batman and Robin, issue number 24. This one is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by multiple different artists on this one. We had, I think, three with this thing. But this is the conclusion to the Memento arc that's been going on for quite a while now. Is it issue 14 or 15 when this whole era of Philip Kennedy Johnson, Batman and Robin started? It's been basically a year-long storyline, and it concluded in a pretty satisfying way for the most part. There is one thing where I feel like we should have had a sequence of this in there, and I don't know if it's going to be included maybe in the next issue, but it's one thing that just kind of left me, well, this is the conclusion arc. This should be in there in some sort of capacity, but we'll get to talking about that in a second. But overall, I did really enjoy this thing. The Memento made for a pretty intimidating villain. Basically, this eldritch horror that's kind of latched itself onto different people over the years and caused all sorts of pain and problems. So, and then of course in this issue, at the last time, we see Damian with the kids that he helped save that also kind of helped to save him, and the kids kind of looked up to him too. He's just like, thank you for coming for me, and they're like, hey, can you show us how to kick stuff? He's like, you know what, sure, I'll show you in time, but I gotta go back and help Batman. So and of course he's still under the influence of the Gravedigger's poppy. And of course we see right here Phil Kennedy Johnson's the writer, Miguel Mendonca is the artist, Carmine Di Gianmenco, I apologize, I butchered that. And then Junie Ba for the whole Robin comic at the end of it. So we do find out the truth about who's been the vestige for Memento, and it's our old friend Daniels, all the way back in like issue 14 or something. To be honest, I completely forgot about this character entirely because we've been focusing on Blau, Professor Atticus Bly or whatever this whole time. So I forgot this character was even in this thing. So the twist, you got me, I guess. So I didn't really expect this character because, like I said, I completely kind of forgot about them. I guess I got to read a little bit more closely. But we see Batman and Latre right here. I do like how Damian ultimately is the one to kind of help save him. We learned that Daniels went looking for Memento in the past, but then he became kind of the vessel for it at one point, and Memento has been kind of using him. And really, Memento wanted young Jack because of the whole Wayne family tragedies and all that kind of come together. And so as he's getting ready to kind of attack, Damian comes in for the save, helps free them, and we get a bit of a scuffle, and Memento gets kind of dragged back into its eldritch hell pit. While he tries to attack everybody, we see the Spirit of Lion and everyone else that Memento's kind of had an impact on kind of work together to ultimately send him kind of back to hell for the time being. And that's basically kind of the last we'll see of Memento for a while. I mean, he could still come back later on, but for the time being, Daniels is kind of taken out of the picture. So we also see a few nights later, we see Batman and Latre. I actually really like Latre. He talks about, is he going back to overseas? And she's like, if I still have a job, I might. And I kind of like seeing this character around. She definitely called Batman out on some stuff, but Batman's really thankful for helping to stop these murders and helping to get his son back. And she's like, I don't agree with this stuff, but he kind of sneaks off against her like he does, you know, the whole Batman. He does that sort of thing when somebody's in the middle of talking, he just kind of up and vanishes. So it was kind of a nice little moment between the two of them. And this is a character I wouldn't mind seeing stick around for a while. So hopefully she does, because to only use her in one arc, I think, you know, would be kind of lame. So hopefully we can see more of her in this run. And then, of course, we get the Damian, Batman and Robin comic book. He talks about how he's like, he's a Wayne and he's also Robin, so he's still going to do his medical stuff during the day, kind of like his grandfather and Dr. Bashar did, but at nighttime still going to be Robin. He's going to be working with the inner city kids to kind of help them around. He likes that he made the city kind of his own in some ways, like he has some secrets and places he goes that even his dad doesn't necessarily know about, and whatever threats are to come, Batman and Robin will be there to kind of save the day. And I like the callback to the boat and everything. I thought that was a nice little touch, and Damian writing his comics and all that to kind of showcase his inner thoughts and all that other stuff. So, but as I mentioned earlier, there was one thing that I wish this arc would have done, because earlier on, actually throughout most of the arc, one of the things that really kind of plagued his thoughts was the little girl that he saved, and she was hurt, and, you know, his overconfidence he felt like he got her injured and he was just kind of living with that moment. And she was at the hospital, but we never saw him actually go and speak to her unless she's going to appear in the next arc. I feel like it's a mistake, since we're at the conclusion to this Memento thing, to not have Damian go and talk to her, at least share one scene, even his little art book that he has been working on. She played such a factor on his psyche throughout this entire arc, and he was afraid to kind of face her down. And then after Bashar died, he hadn't obviously been to the hospital because he was kidnapped by Memento and all that. So to not have him go and speak with her at least once, I feel like is a mistake. Maybe she'll appear in the next little arc and he has a little conversation with her, but I feel like not having her at the conclusion of this thing, unless of course she is in the next one where we see how Damian's medical time is and maybe she's getting ready to get checked out or something like that. There needs to be a scene between the two of them where he's able to face her again, because you can't have this whole arc where he's seeing images of her and everything has been plaguing his psyche and he's been afraid to kind of go and talk to her or something like that. You can't do all that and not have him go and talk to her at some point. I feel like that's a mistake. Like maybe she's finally recovering, he's there for the last day or something. Hopefully we'll get that in the next issue, but not having it at all is a mistake, I think, especially given the fact that that character played such an impact on his psyche and he was seeing her constantly. Like it was just a reminder of his failure to prevent her from being injured and all that too, and the inner turmoil he was going through. So that being said, I did enjoy this arc overall. I like the horror elements with Memento in there, that kind of Doom That Came to Gotham type influence. I am kind of bummed that Etrigan didn't just show up and whoop this thing's ass, but then again, this is a Batman and Robin thing. You want to see them get the job done. Now, they left the door open for Memento to kind of come back in the near future, so maybe this isn't the last we've seen of him. I mean, it's an Eldritch horror. Can you really kill those things for good? I mean, I'm sure you probably could, but it just depends on what the writer wants to do. So, but overall consensus, really good stuff. I like the place that they're in now going forward, really kind of coming to the terms with, like, is this what I want to be forever? Robin goes through this kind of thing. I mean, Damian kind of did it already when he went off and kind of quit the mantle and went off on his own journey there, but now he's trying to figure out, okay, I got the Robin thing, but what does Damian do when he's not Robin? And I like the idea of him kind of becoming a doctor and doing all sorts of other Wayne-related stuff during the day, and also doing stuff at nighttime as Batman and Robin. So I like that. That's a good place. Damian being a healer, like during the day, and like a crime fighter at nights, that kind of makes sense for him to kind of do. So what did you all think of the issue? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for notifications, all that other fun stuff. I got one more comic book that's not a DC book I got to cover as well, but I haven't had the chance to read it because it's super early in the morning. But I will get a video out later on today for that, so look forward to all that stuff. All right, well, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.